Welcome to my channel, or I should say my daughter's channel and my channel as well. It's both our channels now. It's both. It's not just my channel anymore. I'm just gonna read a little bit from Warrior of the Light, a manual. I'm just gonna open it on any page. A warrior of the light has no certainties. He just has a path to follow, a path to which he tries to adapt depending on the season. During battles that take place in summer, he does not use the same equipment and techniques that he would use during battles that take place in the winter. By being flexible, he no longer judges the world on the basis of right and wrong, but on the basis of the most appropriate attitude for that particular moment. He knows that his companions also have to adapt, and is not surprised when they change their attitude. He gives each one the necessary time to justify his actions. But when it comes to treachery, he is implacable or implacable. Howjusay.com. I love that website. It's not anything special, not anything spectacular. www.how, as in HOWJSAY.com. Go to this website, you type a word, and then it will pronounce the word for you. Pronunciation, of course, that is given by this website will be either standard American or British, but pronunciation in English comes from different parts of the world. English is spoken in South Africa. It is spoken in countries like Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand, and Australia. So there is a multitude of accents to choose from. And there is something called EIC, English for International Communication, which doesn't have any affectations. Or it might have some traces of standard American, standard British, a little bit of Australian, New Zealand. It doesn't really matter as long as your pronunciation is intelligible. By intelligible, I mean as long as people understand you. So let's take a look at this website, howjusay.com. Is it implacable, or is it implacable, or is it both? Or is it a different pronunciation? Pronunciation man, pronunciation man, pronunciation man. I had that in a video series for teachers teaching English as a foreign and second language called Family Album USA. And the videos had little segments with songs and different. One of the segments was pronunciation man, and he taught people how to pronounce the words. I've been a teacher since the age of 18, 19 years old. Started as a student teacher. And I got my license, my proper license, in 1995 when I was 23, but I had been teaching as a student teacher prior to that in Brazil. Later on I went on to teach in Australia as well, and then in Norway, where I would like to get credit for my license as a teacher, because I am a teacher. I'm not just somebody who speaks very good English. I am an English teacher. I am licensed to practice. In Brazil I am. In Australia my diploma was accepted. No, I want Norway to recognize it. I have been teaching at institutions, and I've been substitute teaching. So for the past 12 years, any teaching that I had done, I have of course presented my documentation as a teacher, but I haven't really gotten it recognized by the main organ in Norway that has to say, here, you are a teacher here too. But I believe they should recognize my diploma, because it is a license to practice as a teacher in English and literature and English language with minors in Portuguese, literature in Portuguese and Spanish. So I think I am entitled to that, and I hope they recognize it, because I really don't want to go back to school, as I spent 6 years of my life getting my education. 22 years altogether since I've been 23 years since I've been a teacher. howjustsay.com, as I was saying, and I was right. I usually have a couple of ways that I could pronounce a word, and I will strike luck sometimes. You can sort of predict pronunciation, but not always, because English has a lot of exceptions to the rules of pronunciation, so you can't really be certain. Implacable.
Implacable.
Implacable. There it is. But if you said impeccable, people would still understand what you meant, so it still falls under the category of what's linguistically acceptable. Linguistically acceptable is anything that promotes communication. Yesterday, I was having an interesting discussion with a group of other teachers where they were talking about how language is taught in schools in the Norwegian system, and kids will learn language and they will learn to communicate effectively, but they might not be able to pinpoint what's a verb, what's a pronoun. They might not know the categories, but they know how to communicate. And that is a linguistically acceptable approach. By any means, it's perfectly all right. I myself like to marry the two concepts together. You can have very good communicative skills and also learn the proper forms and the proper names of things, and it's not that difficult. That's the way that I see it, and the way that I have dealt with teaching English for the 12 years that I did so in Brazil, using tools, using grammar as a tool rather than making it the most important aspect of it. It was just a tool to make your communication effective and also proper. Why not? Why not say things correctly? howjustsay.com helps you pronounce the words. This book that I am reading passages from, Warrior of the Light, was written by Paulo Coelho. I talked about him many times before on little videos that I made, not only for this YouTube channel but for my old YouTube channel as well that no longer is in use. Paulo Coelho was accepted by what is called Academia Brasileira de Letras, where he was accepted because of the excellence of his work. And it took him a while to get recognized, so I will take that as an example.